click that button, and go over here. No, go over here. We live on YouTube's, and now we need to make sure we connect. Be connect. All right. We have an interesting situation. We have 35% on the, wait, no, not 35, hang on. Yeah, let me wipe this off. Good? Better? Less? Probably do that before we go live. All right, so we got an interesting situation. We have 20% Xpel on the front doors, and we have factory on the rear. We're tinting the entire truck, but God, it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna have pictures in my group. So if you really wanna see detail, because this makes it look almost so light. But we're replacing the front doors. The job is not bad. The gap is a little big on top. So I'll point that out. So let's start up the truck. Roll this down. But I always like to see what other people do. And this right here, I'd say is a little bit far. A little bit farther than I'd like. But it's just a little bit blue. Yeah, you can really see it right there. And then when we close this and go to the rear, it's a little bit more neutral. So his primary concern is wanting this color tone to match the rear as close as possible. So that's one thing we're going to be focusing on. Okay, so let's connect TikTok again, and then make sure this is all working. Come on, phone. There we go. I'm gonna try and wipe off my camera lens too. It's this one, this lower one. There we go. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna be doing a removal. So first things first, let's cover up the panel. We're gonna use a heat gun to do some of the removal, but it's probably gonna leave a lot of glue behind. So then we're gonna have to use something else. Wrap around there, good. So we're gonna take our panel guard, tear off a section, go ahead and stick that there. This goes up the top. And we're gonna trim off a piece. But let's do the removal first before we go and tint everything else. We are gonna be tinting everything, including the windshield. So that means always potential for BCM problems. Is it working? We connected? Okay, cool. Everything's connected. So let's grab our razor blade, tear this off, and we need our heat gun. We'll need two things. We'll need our slip solution and our heat gun. So on the doors, steamer is always going to be a better bet, but if we're just removing a couple of front doors, my steamer takes a little while to heat up. And to be honest, it's always hit or miss. Sometimes steam works really well, sometimes it doesn't work very well. So at the very least, add some heat. And then we're going to take a blade and start pulling this back. Wow. Okay, little glue there. So if we are patient with this one, it might loosen up to the point where it just falls off the window, which is nice. So that's a little glue line. That's not. The Xpel is too blue. So this customer's main concern is going to be color matching. And so when he's driving and he looks through his front doors compared to the rear, there's just so much more blue in the front doors than there is in the rear. So the shade matches, but the film tone does not. That's something that's always driven me crazy about window films. It's like you can find a company that you like, and you can find specs that you like. Xpel leaves a lot of glue. When it's removed immediately or within a few days, usually will come off cleanly. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, this is actually peeling off fairly easily. It's gonna make a removal far quicker and retint far easier to clean. Oh, anytime it does that, anytime it goes pop, that's when it usually will leave glue behind. Steamer's always good. I'm impatient for my steamer. It would work beautifully in this situation though. When you're doing doors, for me, I've started up a steamer so many times and it just takes too long sometimes to start up, and I can get the film off and then the steam doesn't really help that much anyways. I definitely have a steamer. Steamer every time for the back door or back window and front windshield. What about old tint that's brittle? Steamer's still gonna be the best way to go. And cross your fingers and hope for the best. What about old, start a new steamer before your next tint. See, this is where I get impatient. What film to match the rear? I would still use 20%, but I'm gonna go through my films and see which one. C2 ceramic looks like it's got a better color tone than this does. It's a little bit more neutral. Heat gun better than steamer? No, steamer's better, but the time it's gonna take, it's hiding over here. This steamer to heat up is just, I'm gonna have the front doors removed by the time that heats up. And in my experience, when it comes to doors, it's hit or miss. Sometimes the steamer will help a lot, sometimes it won't. In this case, it probably would have done really well. So applying any heat and just getting the glue to soften up, but you'll notice I held the heat gun farther away from the bottom. If you're just not careful with a heat gun, you'll fry the panels, so you don't want to do that either. Steamer's going to be a lot more safe. So then we'll take a blade and just scrape any of the glue off. Do they have chameleon tint in USA? Yeah, it's all over the place. There's no major manufacturers. So your mileage may vary on that. We got some glue boogers. Pull those off. We have them in the UK. Who makes it though? It's easy to take a film and put a brand on it, but that stuff is, I don't know, mixed results. Xpel's tints aren't so good in quality. No, just this film in particular has a strong blue tone to it, and he wants it to match better. Which is really in line with what I've seen in the Facebook group. So, for most people, they're just gonna deal with it, or that's just is what it is. But he paid to have the front doors done. Wants to do them a little lighter, but just isn't going back to get the same film because he's not happy with the blue tone. Do you charge for a removal too? Yes. I wish I could tint my front windshield, but it's not legal. That is an issue. All right, so this side all stripped, ready to go. What's the difference of tinting your windshields on the outside versus the inside? Nobody's gonna tint the outside. Probably XR Plus. He said he thinks he went with just a XR, and it's still got a decent blue tone. You think I have to? What? Sorry, I spent way too long trying to read that comment. Some people, you guys type out words, but you gotta read them back. See if they're in the right order. According to some states, your factory tint is illegal. Yeah, kinda. It might seem that way. It's really not. The laws are basically set to, like, I mean, yeah, on like rear factory tint, some have like 20% laws or whatever. They're supposed to tint them. That's why you never see front doors or windshields or full sedans or full coupes tinted with factory tint in any way. Because it's just not legal nationwide. Where do you get the carpet shield layer? We abandoned carpet shield long ago. We're using, this is called Panel Guard. 313tint.com. What's your plotter setup? We have a Workhorse 2 over there. So that's that guy. And then we have a Graphtec machine right there. About to tint my Accord 5% all around. Nice. Hi from Greece. Watching you learn so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Glad to hear it. Do you do red? No. I've done it before. We had somebody with the 300, and he wanted some red tint, boy. And I tell ya, this shit was ugly, but he loved it. Had somebody else do blue. And the issue is it looks just as blue on the inside than it does on the outside. It was just a red film that we found. He had to have it though. Thoughts on a 93 Land Rover? I don't know. Land Rovers do some weird stuff. I'd have to see it. I don't remember what those look like off the top of my head. Sometimes they have the weird windows near the roof line in the rear. take the key out of the ignition. Bro, we are push starts. They don't do keys no more. Would you recommend... Man, skip my comment. Ask it again. Would you recommend Solar Guard or 3M? Solar Guard or 3M? Geoshield. .3M was more blue than this stuff. So it just depends. Depends on the film. Push starts. Take the key out. What kind of car you got? Why not steam it off? Because that thing is going to take me 15 minutes to start up. And heat gun's much faster. For doors, even with leaving some glue behind, it's going to take me longer to start up the steamer than it is to just do this. A lot of times I've taken the time to start up the steamer and I end up just ripping the film off the glass anyways. But if it's a back window or we're doing a full removal, I'm gonna go through with the steamer. Front doors, it doesn't matter to me. Do you need a storefront to buy Geoshield? Because Xpel won't sell to me. No. I hate that 3M puts a watermark. That's just a more like their way of being more of, I'd say, a luxury brand. Like trying to detour some type of ripoff, even though it's just a little watermark. They wipe off too, so it's just like a ink stamp that you can take a little rubbing alcohol and they all come off. But it's the #1 ripped off film, like, period. So eBay was like littered with, this is 3M film. And then I can't tell you how many actual people I've talked to that are like, I don't know, I think it's 3M. I bought it off of eBay. Like, it's, with films, it's not. Do you tell your customers they can wait a week? No, that's too long. I say 2 to 3 days in the summertime. Up to a week in the wintertime. But usually it's 4 or 5 days. I'll tell them there could be something in the window that might take a little longer to dry out. But your windows, especially if you just squeegee them right, they're gonna tack up really quickly. The whole don't roll your windows down for a week, or if they do, then the customer ruined them. Like, that's a meme. If you install them right and you're using a good film, you don't have to wait that long. But that's what everybody says, so. I have Xpel. I'm sorry. No, Xpel's a good film. It's just, today we're removing it. Because it's too blue for this customer. I don't like those. I don't like films that have like a real strong color tone. I rolled my windows down day after tint. It has marks. Are you sure they're not just like some water things that can just be like wiped off the window? Like just a little water residue? Because if your windows are just tinted, the water sits on the seal and will take a little while to dry. So they could just be soapy water streaks. Tell my customers they can roll them down immediately, no issues. I like that. I just see some tinters get completely butthurt. Like, this guy for sure rolled them down early. That's why they messed up. I'm like, no. Should be able to roll them down right away and not cause an issue in most cases. So if your edges are locked down, that's fine. Can't you pre-dry? Yeah, it just takes time. And the edges is what takes the most time. And you can't really dry those out. So those will naturally dry over a couple days. But you could take an IR lamp, a heat gun. It's just tedious. Takes time. Taking a torch and just real quick isn't going to be enough. I got a steamer, a Conair steamer. I hope it's one with a hose. But yeah, Walmart, like any steamer, anything that puts steam on the window, but you want one with a hose so then you can get where you need to be. I don't know if like Conair, some of the Conair ones are just the handhelds. What do you think about Tint X? I want to know what I have to do to stop getting asked about them 5 times a stream. Every stream. How dare somebody replace the Xpel? My Geo has horrible low angle glare. What Geoshield line did you get? Because they definitely don't have it. But I'm curious what line you put on your windows. My 13 Civic is bubbling along the defrosters. Is that a film issue? Yes. It needs to be replaced. It's just film failure. Suntech HP? I don't even know. Autobahn's good. Yep, I hear great things about Autobahn. I hear great things about Xpel. We're just replacing it today. I think if there's something I would change about my stream, it would be somehow to stop talking about brands and pricing. Those 2 topics. What are you replacing? We're doing C2 ceramic. We're also changing the shade, so he's going a little bit later. He did 20 on the front doors to match the rear. I got some pictures. You know what I want to do? I'm going to pull, because I'm always curious about this stuff. This is the film. So I'm going to save this. So the tint meter, we're just going to check the shade. This should be about a 20. Oh, what? Oh, we had 35 done. Was that noticeable and it's 35? Oh, I thought we were replacing 20. I wonder if I should call him. That was? Lol, surprise. Yeah, this is what we just pulled off again. Let's just take it. 35. Yeah, he's got 35. All right, well, I got the right film. Okay, so this we're gonna put here. And then we're gonna grab a small swatch of our C2. So this is gonna be, God, it's so hard to tell on the camera. So this one is Geo and this one is Xpel. The Geo is definitely not leaning blue, for sure. One thing I want to do too is we're gonna just take this. Here, we got a white wall here. Whoops. On a wall, it looks fine. When it's on the truck, I'm gonna take this. This is my heat lamp demo. No tint. We're gonna round it right around 300 or so. So dyed doesn't block heat. Carbon blocks about half the heat. And ceramic blocks a lot more. So we're gonna go to the no tint slide and we're just gonna do an apples to apples comparison. So Xpel is down to 70 and this is 100. So it's gonna block a little bit more heat for sure. This is more in line with like Pro Nano, but the coloring is off. There's always trade-offs. That's a hot heat bulb. Look at that. Holy shit. So my Pro Nano ceramic would be more in line with it. But the Pro Nano 35 has too much of a brown tone. This was like one of the things that it's like, it's annoying. There's so many trade-offs with film. It drives me crazy. Some match a little better. Some block a little more heat. Some have a little bit better color tone than others. And it's just like, so when somebody asks me like, hey, what film is the best or what brand is the best? And it's like, dude, there's so many annoying trade-offs. It just depends. Like some film brands, they just have more shades. So as much as I love Geo, it's like they got their shortcomings too. Is there any brand that excels in heat protection? I mean, they all do. So like Geo has C2 ceramic and then they have Apex. So if we wanted to push those numbers up even higher, we would use Apex instead of C2. So for all I know, that was XR Plus versus C2, which is not an apples to apples comparison. This is just what we had on here versus what we're changing it out with. Why are you tinting the outside of the window? Because I just want to be weird. Everybody puts it on the inside. Let's put it on the outside today. Your thoughts on using a plotter? Plotters are great. I want a tighter finish on the top edge, so I'm gonna hand cut it. It's like buying a t-shirt from a store off the rack or getting it tailor fitted. And so what we're doing is we're tailor fitting these front doors. You should do members only streams. No tint question. I feel like it would be nothing but tint question because you're getting a concentrated group of tinters. Tinters ask a lot of the brand questions and comparisons and care more than the customers do. Your average customer is going to be, oh, there's a difference between tint? You can still get a tight edge with a plotter, you just have to file the top edge. Yeah, it just kind of defeats the purpose for me. Like, I don't feel like at that point you're not really saving time. So you definitely can do it that way. Plotters are just efficiency tools, though. Plotters are great. I use them. They're awesome. It's just there's a time and a place for me to use them, and there's a time and place where I do this. You can do a window just as fast. Yeah. Little tricks like double cutting. I work for Eastman. Love your shop. Thank you. I got Apex Ceramic 50 on low angle sun in the morning. Should it be an install issue? How long ago did you get Apex? They had a 1.5 mil that I didn't quite like for that reason. And then they had a 2 mil version that came out shortly after. Their initial run wasn't as good as the newer stuff. But the newer stuff has been out for a while. What's the square footage of your shop? 4,000 square feet. 4,300? Something like that. Is that a normal Alpha blade? This is a normal blade, stainless steel, and then we use a different one for the top. Is tinting inside better or outside? It always goes on the inside. Where do you recommend a beginner to get started? Videos, figure out what tools you need from those videos, and then start practicing on your own car. Why do you use a different blade to cut the top? Okay, so a couple of reasons. One, plastic holder. When you press it up against the film, it doesn't mar the film. And two is a very thin, very sharp carbon steel blade. This would scratch the window if you just try and cut directly on the window. Stainless, we use this because it's got a similar hardness to the glass, but the thickness in the stainless still works well for cutting a top edge, but I like the thinner one. You get a better cut. You get a better cut like more easily. Who was looking to get a quote for a ceramic tint on my Subaru WRX. Not sure what percent yet. Ugh, I can't really show. I want to make sure that this is it's going to respond. I feel like there's an issue with it. Have you thought about hiring everyone to take over a role? Or do you like where the business is at now? Good question. Parts of it are taken over because they can't do everything. So we have like orders that ship out every day. We have people to do that. For the actual tinting, I do most of it. But a big reason is because I do lots of videos, or I try to anyways. And so with lots of videos, not everybody can do those. Hang on, I'm going to scoot this up a little bit more. I've tinted so much I can do it in my sleep. That's a bad time. Tint all day and then do it in your sleep. Did we get something for that? No? Oh. Wow. What the fuck is going on with this one? I say it's easier and then all of a sudden it's just dragging. I wonder if that was used from the other day and we didn't change it. So let's change it. What car do you personally drive? I got a Tesla Model 3. Look, we got lots of slivers, and then we had a spot where it hung up. We don't like when it does that. I was just trying to refine it a little bit more. I probably should have left it. Dirt. Sucks. So we're gonna scoot this up. I still got margin at the bottom, so should be fine. Now let's do this with a new blade. I hope we don't make an idiot. What the fuck? Ay. They're stuck together. They're so thin. You gotta make sure you get individual ones. Don't you love tinting back glass on a C6 Corvette? No. There we go. But you just said it was easier. It was until I said something. That's better. A dull blade is gonna screw up your film. I don't know if I swapped that blade out or not. Do you live in a hot area? In the summertime, it gets kind of warm. Better. Much better. How long does it take to tint the whole thing? Hopefully not as long as it was taking us to cut these doors out. Are you still double cutting? Yes. So if you're going, here's what I'll say. If you're going up against a plotter and you're not double cutting, plotter's gonna kick your butt. If you are double cutting, you're gonna get a very similar time frame on most vehicles, but that's one person. So if you are running everything yourself, but where a machine comes in handy is when you have somebody to run it for you. So you have somebody cutting and prepping vehicles, and then you focus on tinting. You get a really good workflow. What's the worst car to tint? Old stuff. Definitely old stuff. How many cars do you average a day? Not many lately. I suck at local advertising. It's been slower for us for sure. Is tinting the only product you offer? Yeah. I don't know what it is with the first message. Wait, what? Sorry, hang on. Why is it being goofy? I'm trying to follow up with the customer really quick. Could do a fall special. Yeah, that was a problem with our other ads our ads is I just didn't have an offer in there. Shout out from the Philippines. What's up? I'm going back. Okay, so I want to go to my inbox. Then we're going to go to this guy. Copy 24894. And we're going to send this guy a manual message. Okay, so this should send. The TV setup go. Thank you. How come you prefer Geoshield? For a lot of reasons. I think their film is super competitive. I think they have top-notch customer service. They're just great. And then, oh, we gotta take the tags off, I think. Yep, let me take this one, and this one, and then click save. Oh, you know what it is? I think I gotta switch something over. God, why does this stuff happen while I'm live? This is when you learn. Agency dashboard. Custom styling. Oh god, this is annoying because there's like stuff I need to do in the background, but I can't. Vault. Ugh. Is that just my IA? Shouldn't this default then? Or does it not work that way? Hang on. God, that's so annoying. Sorry, there's like work stuff. And I want to troubleshoot it. And I got a card to do right now. AI stuff is going great. It's just when we change something and don't 100% make sure everything was set up for my own shop, all of a sudden it's like, damn it. Because it should be responding to somebody right now, but I need to tweak something for it to work, and I gotta figure out what that thing was really quick. And we got a card, Tint. Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna peel this and install it now. So we have basically somebody calls, which they did. We have an immediate, nobody answers the phone. We have an immediate text back. And then we have a AI bot that's trained off of our shop pricing and everything. And so what it does is then messages them back and answers any questions that they have. So I can be completely hands-off with the phones on a Saturday. It's just, it's still getting built and tweaked, and we've gone through some different systems and stuff. So I wanna troubleshoot it and just get it going again today. Because we have it running for a while, but then we made some changes this week. What type of blade would you recommend for hand cutting tint? Get a stainless one. Where do you get the red handled squeegee? Fusion just released new handles. Some suppliers are carrying them. I haven't added them. They look... I like that they're doing some different colors. I don't know why they pick ketchup and mustard, but... yeah. So this is a RAM. Right now we're doing the front doors in 35. For somebody looking to get into tinting, would a 3-day course be valuable? Yeah, they're definitely valuable. Don't let a class feel like it needs to be your starting point, though. So like a class is going to teach you a lot, but you're not just going to become a tinter in 3 days. They're going to help speed you up, teach you a lot of fundamentals, and get you on your way. The right class will. But I always encourage going into class fairly prepared. You're not going to teach yourself any bad habits or anything. Get some film, get some tools, watch videos, and practice. Do that for at least a couple of weeks before you take the class. That way when you go in, it's like you're familiar with handling film. Okay, so what I want to do now, I want to see the difference here. So this is what it was before. Cut. Why did it close? Okay, so I'm gonna add the door I just took, open an editor, and then we're going to put that up here. Layer, so we're gonna add a photo. We're gonna add the rear door, because I wanna see what this looks like. Let's crop it. It's good to see what they look like side by side. Kind of like, what does the tone look like versus the other one? Okay, and then we're gonna put 50 on the back. Definitely doesn't look as blue. Why didn't you use a steamer? Good question. Because didn't take me a long time to just send it. Automation. Is it off? No. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Execution logs. What's today? Why is it failing? Okay, I'll figure it out later. What constitutes a high quality film? High quality materials. All right, so we're gonna go back to this window, and then we're gonna keep tinting. Just got my FC 9000. Took me 5 minutes to get it cutting right. Nice. That's sweet. Glad it wasn't too much hassle. It depends on the machine for me. Are you just an applicator? Yes. All right. My webhook is not webhooking, and I know why. But I don't know how to switch it back. The film didn't look that old. No, the film didn't look that old. Have you done any PPF? Is it similar in any way? The amount of nitpickiness is similar. But PPF is generally a little bit more difficult, and the cost of everything is more. What did you say about webhooks? My webhook is not webhooking. We're just going through changes pretty rapidly right now. So we're using a service before we started building our own, and so before ours is like completely done, like we're using all our same training data and we're using it through a different service, but we don't like, they're just a little bit less flexible than we want. And so we're having to build our own. That's for our responder. And so I changed our subscription tier to them, and I think that's why mine is currently not responding, because we were using our own API keys. And I haven't gone back to using theirs. But I don't know how to switch it right now. In 2 seconds. Without upgrading. I think I probably could. I should try. I should just try that really quick. Upgrade back, unlock that, and then get the message to send. And I don't think I would be charged. At least I hope not. What car is that, and what car do you recommend for a beginner? Most anything past 2000 is good for practice. Some are more difficult than others, but this is a Ram. So you'll learn doors and truck back windows, but you won't really learn shrinking back windows so much unless you're doing the windshield. What's your site? Our tool store is 313tint.com. I think Ford F-150 is the easiest. They're definitely pretty straightforward. I like those. It's a good day when we get an F-150. Is slip solution easier to work with than baby shampoo? Yes, depends on the film. Can you use the other door? Yeah. Can't just let me stream. There's always stuff. Always extra stuff. They decided they want to work on the cameras today, which is fine. But we... Use the other door! God damn. We have a back door and we have a front door. Okay, cool. Looks good. See, we rolled it down right away. It's fine. Just wanted to double check that my pattern didn't slide. Good. Good. It's a gorgeous workshop. Thank you. I'm a fan. Hi. Yeah, you can just come in through that one or hit the unlock next time on that one. I was in the middle of something. For some reason, they decided to stick the entire camera system in our unit for the building, which I guess if we want to burn it down, we can disconnect it fairly easily. You're the king of window tinting. Oh no. Maybe you should lock the back door. The back door is locked. That's why I couldn't get in. We have a front door and a back door, but they're on the same wall. How do you organize your tints? By category. So we have all our Pro Classic in one cabinet, C2 in another cabinet, Pro Nano in another one. It's okay. It keeps it clean. Used to do the same thing just with shelves though. So I'd have a shelf for Pro Nano, so on and so forth. How many jobs today? Just this one today. It's Saturday. Usually been taking those off lately. So there's just been a lot going on during the week. And so I used to just tint 6 days a week. But I do that less now. Unable to verify. Why? There we go. Have you ever thought about working with 3M? Yeah, I've used 3M. They're very blue. Your voice must really carry. We have the garage door, so, or they'll figure it out. Could this be offered mobile until I can afford a brick and mortar? If you don't know how to tint, it's really difficult. It's not in the same way as a detailing business. There are guys that do it 100% mobile, but I'd compare it to trying, like, I'd compare it to trying to paint a car outside. Environment matters a lot. As long as you're indoors, it's significantly easier. But if you're outdoors, a slight breeze turns your film into a kite. So that's where you can, like, especially run into problems. What's the best brand of tint to buy? I don't want to get into a brand thing. I get accused enough of being a Geoshield in my own Facebook group, but I had to use something, so like, and then I get asked about brands all day. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I use Geo. I like their films. I know a lot about the brand. And that's one reason I went with them in the beginning. It's like I knew a lot about the film lines before I even started using them. Not just like, people weren't talking about them. It's just like, I'd previously worked with them, and then I learned where the films were made, and then so it was a pretty good bet. Every time I tint mobile outside, I always get shit in my tint. Yep. I mean, everybody cuts and shrinks on the outside, right? And imagine if you have a slightly breezy day. Like, how do you account for that? There's no practical way to account for everything that is just like quick and efficient. So it's just really difficult to do it 100% mobile. You really need a space. Now you can use somebody else's space. You don't need to necessarily pay for your own space. But I think a lot of people see mobile detailing businesses and then think that window tint's a quick add-on service because you're just, your customers are asking. Like if you're detailing, chances are you're going to get asked. How do you remove old tint film? Steamer's going to be the best bet. Really? The child lock. Let me run back over this one. I do signage and vinyl. I hate wind. Yeah. I always get that one spec. Yeah, try not to beat yourself up over one spec. That'll happen regardless. You usually have something, but that something should be fairly minimal. So as long as it's minimal and it's hard to find, you'll be fine. Okay, so I had my top edge knife, and it has disappeared. Why don't you use an X-Acto knife? You can't snap them. So an X-Acto knife has one section. These knives, I have a whole lot of blades that I can play with. I'll get a green one this time. Is it normal to put the film on the outside? Yes. Totally normal to put the film on the outside. Just gonna let that sink in. When the tint cures, do the small specks go away? No. No, when the tint cures, the small specks look worse. I do know how to cut a top edge. I don't know how I misplaced my other one. It's probably somewhere in my tool belt and I can't see it. You use a carbon blade for the top? Yes, a thin carbon blade. Is this your truck? No. In the winter, does it freeze? No. What's the benefit of the carbon? So it's a thin carbon steel blade Carbon steel is a little harder, but the thinness of it is what I really, really like. I don't know. I was just playing around with different blades. I had no idea that NT had like 10 different types of snap-off blades. I've only ever been using their stainless steel, and so I bought them all. And started just trying them out. And what I noticed is like when you use a stainless steel, or sorry, the carbon steel one, like carbon steel had been talked up a lot. I never really saw a dramatic difference, and then I got thin ones, and that's when I was like, oh, this is just easier. And so what I would do is we have classes, and I would see new people struggle a lot with trying to cut a top edge, and I would do it, and I hand them the same knife, and then they try and do it. And then so in experimenting with different blades and the holders and stuff like that, I just felt like the plastic one was easier to use. And so I started handing them to students. And sure enough, they had an easier time doing it. So now it's just become a lot more normal for us. It's what I recommend before everything else. Try the carbon steel blade. What do you think about hard removable tint? That it's hard and removable? Doesn't sound like a fun day. Is that a spray keg? Yes. Do you know if it's possible to get Xpel without a shop? No, you can't. There it is. There's my knife. It's just right there. That makes sense. They look at that like, hey, okay. Some brands are very protective about their brand for good reason. They want to maintain some sort of consistent customer experience across all their dealers. Like, it's the Apple approach. Can you buy iPhones from Apple and sell them out of the back of your van? No. Why? Some film companies look at their films the exact same way. And you can't just say, well, I'm not going to do anything shady. Nah, because it's tint, it's all shady. YouTube has brought me back here. It's a sign that I need a yeehaw. Those algorithms, man. That's what's crazy about shorts. You can sell my film out of the back of your candy van. So that's also why you don't see any of these films on Amazon. That's why you don't see them in a Walmart. It's just all the brands on some level want some sort of control. They want to know, like, one, all these films have warranties. Two, all these films have no real identifiers. So if you're buying, you could be buying a film off somebody's, or off of eBay that says 3M. That is definitely not 3M. Global is the same. Yeah, Global has state distributors too. They're even more unique. So the issue with Global is if you are in Michigan, they tell you which distributor to order from. If you're in Texas, you order from a different distributor. The distributors have territories. How different is the shrinking process between carbon and ceramic? It depends on whose film. Some shrink like garbage. Some shrink incredibly easy. It's not the material, it's the manufacturer. So you don't know until you could pick up 5 different carbon films and they're all going to act different. They're going to have the same basic rules, but they're all going to act a little different from each other. They're all going to look a little different from each other. It's like buying paint. One company's white paint is going to be slightly different from another company's white paint. What's the most effective tool to putting tint on the window? Squeegees? In your hands? I only buy Kodak films. But, film joke. You putting ceramic or carbon? We're doing both. It's a carbon ceramic film. Oh my God, what? That's crazy. Film available to beginners, open to 10 negative reviews. Yes. Yep. That can definitely be true. So look at it from Big Brother's perspective. You're a film brand and you sell window film. You want your window film to be the Apple of the window film industry. So, if you sell your film to Joey Crackhead, do you think he's going to make your film look great? Or he's going to make it look super ghetto? Probably ghetto. Do you have to work in a shop to get good? No. No, you can definitely learn on your own. It's just a tough road for everybody, though, because it's a skill that has a lot of resources now, but there's a lot of things that you see happening that you're not really going to understand until you start working with the film and doing it yourself. It's all there. But it's just can take a little while to understand how to like read the film. Super ghetto. I bought Tint Depot's 5% carbon line. What could I expect longevity wise? I don't know. What did they say? I'm not Tint Depot. What did they say in their description when you bought it? I think $25 a window, it's gonna have a heavy haze. What is? Why replace it? Why replace Xpel? Never had issues with it. This customer just thought it was too blue. So we replaced it. It's just front doors though. Factory matching is really difficult. So not every film is great for a factory match. So you can get a similar shade, but matching the color tone is just like a crapshoot. Some films will go closer, some films won't. So any film with a really strong color tone is just especially not going to match certain vehicles as closely. But factory will vary wildly across like vehicle to vehicle. So all he was like is like, I just want whatever the front doors are, I want them to look a lot more similar to the rear. Just don't want a strong difference. So we're doing a 50 over the rear because he wanted it a little darker. And then we changed out the front doors. What's the darkest car you tinted? Not too long ago, we just did, what was it, an Acadia? The new Acadias, 2%. It hurts because there's so many like annoying nuances. It's not just get carbon film tint truck, looks great, cost X amount, the end. It's like there's so many small variables across everything. But people want it to be that simple, and I get it. Hang on, I'm gonna wipe this off. Because then I get questions like, is 3M the best tint? Yes. That's why we're using somebody else's film. Why did you cut the bottom on the fronts, but you didn't cut the bottom on the rears? I had a short roll, 24-inch roll, so I lined the factory edge up. I don't have this short roll in C235, so I used a longer roll. What's the best film for night driving? A film that is fairly easy to see through, that is not super dark. I'm gonna look through it. Did all that excessive spray go down in that brother's door? Yes. Yes, it did. How much do you charge for all 4 windows, including the rear? How much do you charge for all 4 windows, including the rear? So it depends on the film. We start at $290 for all the sides and the rear. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to do that rear door. Yes, just like rain. So here's something crazy. If you actually look at your door seals, you see those gaps? Where do you think water's going? Water's getting into your door all the time. And then if you look in here, like this is just the other side of the window. Take a door panel apart, look up a video, and you'll really understand, like, the whole inside of your door always gets wet. The shop is vibes. How do I become a window tinter? Applications always need experience where I tint. Yes, because they don't want to just train potential competition. They want to find people that already know how to do it. Because why would you want to take on all that risk of trying to train a new employee? Like, you could just be upset one day and go start your own shop and they just taught you everything. So it's different to get into for everybody. Some people can find a place to tint. Some people have a garage and they just practice from home. Some people have to spend money on getting a storage unit and just do your own vehicle and start there. There is no direct way to get in. I mean, maybe we could set up Tint College, where you come and stay here for summertime. But you'd have to take out a student loan to do it. It wouldn't be cheap. That's a risk I'm willing to take. We're training somebody. I think the best people come from that. But I think you have to go through a lot of people too sometimes to find that person. In this field, not worth it. Yeah, that's why we don't do it. I think there'd be maybe like 1 or 2 people that would sign up for it. The Professor X of Tint School. But okay, so one thing that's always been impossible for me to figure out is like, we do lots of videos, but we do other things too. So we're not just a tint shop. Non-competes, yeah, those aren't valid anymore. They didn't really do much anyways. No scrub pad? No, I mostly don't use scrub pads. I'll use them on the outside, but I use razor blades on the inside. Scrub pads, like, create a lot of suds, but if you're not careful, like, what I don't like about a scrub pad is you can't feel the glass. So if there's, like, a speck stuck to the window, you can't feel that speck with a scrub pad, and sometimes, like, scrub pads just don't put a lot of pressure on the window. So you'll scrub a window and feel great about it, and then you'll tint it, and you'll notice, like, an adhesive line that you just didn't see because you just, suds up your whole window. Those little differences matter, but what was that question? If everybody had the same thought process, they would leave and start themselves. They would have less joiners, builders, etc., etc. And you do. A lot of those fields are looking for people. So many of them go on to just try and start their own practice. And then they try and look for help, and then they run into the same problems. There are people that'll stick around, but like I said, you have to go through sometimes a lot of people to figure it out. But there's a lot of businesses that are just like poorly run. There's a lot of shops that'll just like, they're a tint shop, that's all they are, that's all they'll ever be. And they don't have a way for an employee to grow. So somebody will be capped at a particular hourly or a particular salary. And then you hit that cap. And then you wonder, hey, where's my boat? I want my boat. And the only way to get that boat is to go start your own business in that company. So then people end up starting their own things. Tinting is low cost to start up. Yep. It's another one of those. It's very appealing just to get some film, get some tools, and try and start your own tint business. Learning how to tint is one thing. Growing the business outside yourself is so much harder. Where do you buy your tint from? 313tint.com. Link in the description. What's the plastic cover? It's called Panel Guard. Helps keep all the water off of it. I want to go to America, but it's not easy. Yeah, it's really not. That's why unions were formed. Yeah, but every window tint shop is going to be private, or like the majority of them are privately owned. It's starting to consolidate a little bit, but it's very challenging because it is so like, you cut out the middleman. Your middleman needs to have value, and as soon as the middleman stops having value, that's when people start their own thing. And the internet has become everybody's middleman. So there's special standout businesses that leverage that and can build a brand and build a presence beyond what one person or most people can do. Those ones are the ones that are really worth working for. He's got a rain sensor. Big difference in Geo? No, not a huge difference. No, what we were trying to do is get the front doors to match the rear better. Because he just wasn't happy with the tone difference between the two. For beginner, what tint percentages should I buy? For tint percentages, most people are going to get 20%. So you're going to want 20, 35, and 5, and then maybe 50. But 20, 35, and 5 are going to be the main ones. What do you think about double tinting? Double tinting's kind of funny. If somebody has tint already and wants to go darker, if that tint's in good shape, sure, tint over it. I just wouldn't offer any type of warranty. But if 5% is not dark enough, there are 2% now, so just get 2%. Is Lexan good training film? Yeah, it's a way to save some money and really practice doors. The shrinking of it throws a lot of people off. How long did it take you to grow your business to now? I didn't open Detroit Tint Studio until 2020. Right when COVID started. But I had been making videos long before that. I was a tinter long before that. I didn't really want a shop. And on some level, I still don't want a shop. Because it's annoying. There's two businesses here. There's my training and tool supply. And then there's the actual retail side of it. So one thing that has really sucked for me is like it splits your focus in a way where you start focusing too much on one of those things. And then the other one suffers. No more pink clean. No, I just... Goddamn. I like the pink clean. I still use the pink clean. I should go get the clear crush and really throw you guys for a loop. I'm trying to see this right now, but there's a phone right in my line of sight. Oh, that's farther. Hang on. Let me move you guys out of the way. A little bit farther. Is 20% bad for night driving? Yes. I hear that often. They're like, I'm going to do a really dark shade. Does that make it difficult to see when it's completely dark outside and I'm going down back country roads? Yes, always. 20% is not bad. 20% is not bad in most situations until it's difficult to see outside. So thunderstorms, foggy weather, dark back roads, like it's just when it's tough to see, cutting out 80% of your vision makes it more difficult. %, feels see-through compared to my 5/20. Yep. I've been trying to get my 85 Pontiac tinted, but everyone says they don't tint cars older than 2001. Why do you think that is? Because anything older than 2000 now gets put in a classic bucket of shit I don't want to deal with. What Pontiac do you have? Where you get the white strap thing. 313tint.com. It's called Glass Aid. Glass Aid cut guard. All right, let's coat it. Should we use this again? Same as box Chevy. What? Can I cut Parisian? Here. What was it? Oh, what fucking car was it? My guy. Why don't people want to tint this? Ugh, what the fuck is that? That's why. That's like in the same category as like whatever this is back there. Vastly more difficult is why people don't want to do it. It's because somebody's going to spend all day doing that. And it's just not going to be worth it. I can do 3 to 4 cars in the time that it's going to take me to do that car. Mine is nice. Same one as in my videos. Yeah, the vehicle might just be nicer, but it's the same windows. So you're also gonna want it to look really good at the end of it, right? What makes it harder to tint? When you tint, you know, old frames full of dirt, nowhere to tuck the film because it's just they did things differently back then. Cars now are a million times easier than they used to be. And you pair that with old cars just aren't common anymore. I'm just tired of people staring at me. It's like I'm in a fishbowl. Yeah, I know. Tinting that car is like doing a resto mod versus a collision job. Yep. All right, so we're gonna do 70 on this. Where did you get that cabinet set up? This is from New Age. Yep, dry rotted seals, all that. Even if that stuff is replaced, here's another fun thing too. Let's say somebody damages a window while they're tinting it. They put a bad scratch in it or something. Where are you gonna get the replacement glass for it now? Like, there's just so many reasons to not do it. Unfortunately, just like, for example, these seals, I have room to tuck the film all the way around. And we just see those types of seals every day. This, on the back window, I've got a black ceramic border around, should be on the top too, but it's a ram, around all of it, right? On your Pontiac, you just don't have that space. So then you have to start making like lots of compromises. It'll take you 3 or 4 times just to tint one window. You just waste a bunch of film and time and be pissed off. And at the end of the day, you're just hoping that you turn out a halfway decent result because you had to charge $1,500 just to make it worth your time. Not fun. So that's why everybody's telling you no. Is the tape around the rear view area supposed to have symmetrical corners? I'm just trying to cover up the border because I'm cutting on the tape. No, oh no, not on this one. Because, see, this one goes flat here, and then it's curved over here. Like, it just, this one's weird. It's not symmetrical on the inside, so it's not going to be symmetrical on the outside. See that? See the way they do their cutout? So you need a business license to get started or insurance. No, you can just get started. I mean, when you make a business, there's things that you're gonna need to do, but you can just get started and nobody's gonna know you have a business, so it doesn't really matter. But at some point, you're gonna wanna start taking yourself seriously. What kind of tape is that? It's called Glass Aid. I'm gonna shift this down a little bit more. What tint manufacturer do you use? Geoshield. What's the best way to learn? Get some film, get some tools, get your hands dirty. Just start watching videos and try and train yourself. Because you just might hate it. Where do you get Glass Aid? Online? Yes. Or the window tint aisles of your local Home Depot. Actually, they do sell window film. They usually sell it on an end cap for houses, though. Oh my god, this keeps sticking in one spot. Damn top corners. There's like... should cut it short. God, it's so annoying. It's just hanging up right in this area. It keeps grabbing. Yeah, this. It's like, it's crazy. It just keeps gripping like right here. Right on the edge. What do you do to deal with dirty seals besides the tape? You can wipe them like your butt. Or you can hose them down like a bidet. Good lordy. Can you show us that cutting tool? Yes. This, it's called the Snitty Cutter. It's got a replaceable blade. You can use 4 sides to it. Very popular in the vinyl wrapping industry. And it's great because it'll just slice through it like a letter opener. Except it's a little bit more industrial than that. Just joined. What's the approximate price for a job like this? I'll tell you the exact price we charged. So all around with the windshield, this is ceramic. This one's $700. There's $750 because it removed the front doors. Can you tell us why you have a really expensive plotter, but you continue to hand cut? Yes. Because I don't like them for every situation. Plotter is not just a fix-all. I have a workhorse too that's collecting dust, and then I got a Graph Tech. Both of them will do the job. I like the Graph Tech because it's more better. Okay, 2 seconds, we'll get to shrinking. It kept sticking to like the roof line and these and the pillars. So I'm just trying to like shift it a little bit to cover all my edges. And it was just being dumb. Having issues with my workhorse 2, can't get it to dial in fully. Yeah, plotters are touchy. Because usually after you start dialing it in, at some point, you try so much that it starts damaging the blade and you just gotta replace the blade and start over. Nice workplace, thank you. What's the darkest tint you've done on a windshield? 20. Oh, I missed my diffuser. Makes 70 so much harder to see. No, I've never done a windshield in 5. I have 5 on my shield, tempted to go back to 20. I did that with my doors. You know, I looked at my car too much. So I had like 35 on the front, 20 on the rear. And I did like 20 on the front, 15 on the rear. And then I was looking at it and I did 15 on the rear. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do 5. So I did 5 on the back, put 5 on the fronts, sat in there for a good like 10 seconds and then ripped them off the front doors. I totally get doing it. It's just not for me. I had a 20% shield, got pulled over, so I decided to go darker. Yeah, if you're gonna get a ticket for it, you might as well enjoy driving with what you got. What is the difference between tint being installed on the inside versus the outside? The end of the video. I've learned so many valuable things from doing videos. I didn't realize there's a whole crap ton of people that see something that you're doing and just cannot, even if you explain it, cannot think ahead. Yeah, that. So there was like, it's like people just see something and they're like, ah. And you're like, no, that's not how it is at all. Like, things take price. Or things take time and there's processes and have you ever melted through a piece of film with the heat gun? Yes. This guy acts like he isn't like everybody else, but he does it all the time with stuff that he doesn't understand. What, take the time to actually understand it? There's plenty of stuff I don't understand, but I don't come in swinging act like I know everything. I take the time to learn about it first before I'm like, ah. I just got back from tint school. Do you work for somebody first and second? First and second. Yeah, I used to work for other people. My dad had a company for a long time. He still has a tint shop. He's not a tinter, but he's got a shop. He used to have a bigger company. Did Geo change the name of their ceramic film? They changed the Carbon Plus line to C2 ceramic. I've used Geoshield, good stuff. I work for Xpel's dealership division, but not allowed to buy my own film from the company. No. I'm surprised and not surprised. So they just got to keep squeezing their dealers. They're publicly traded. They have to sell millions of rolls and then millions more. Like, so they bought Permaplate and then they took over dealership business, which just means that they're going to sell a shit ton more film rolls. Make up some reason why it's good for their dealers. Now their dealers, actual dealers, have to compete with actual dealerships. How much experience do you have? At least a day. At least a couple days. Because we have a few live streams on the channel from a couple days ago. How much curve does a window need to have before you heat shrink it? If I had a way to measure it, I would probably tell you. The real answer is just put the film on there and see if you get fingers forming at the edges and then shrink it. And that's going to be the vast majority of vehicles. So just always shrink it. Are you on the highest setting? Yes. This heat gun's been through a lot though. I think it's getting to the end. Kinda in a crummy mood today, aren't you? No. No, but the sarcasm is very strong today. No, today's actually going nice. I wish I could fix my autoresponder. But I don't know if I'm gonna get charged to fix it. It's not that I don't mind paying, but I don't want to just pay $500 for a Band-Aid fix. Might have to make a new agent, and that's what I got. Maybe I just got to do that. Or maybe I just got to connect a new webhook and then we're fine. Probably that. It goes on the outside of the window? Yes. Until it goes on the inside. Love you, man. I've grown a lot as a tinter from your videos. You the man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Glad to hear they're helpful. Is it legal? If you have a doctor's note, yes. Also, 70 is in that range of nobody's going to be able to tell unless you tell them. So you could get pulled over for speeding, and I doubt anybody would notice that your windshield's tinted. That's what 70 is. Can you tint over a windshield decal? You can. I would remove it and then tint it. And then put your decal back on. I have 50% and you still can't tell. I have 50 on mine. And I'd say, like, on a sunny day, if you're not really thinking about it. So when you know it's there, you definitely notice it's there. So I show people my windshield and they're like, they know it's there. But they're not, it's not at the front of their mind. So when you're just driving around, it's generally not an issue. I'm confused. Why would you do 70 if you can't tell? Because tinting is not just about making your car dark. This has a layer of ceramic in it. So now you're not going to feel heat passing through your glass anymore. It's more better. I got 43 on my windshield, 5 front doors, and 2.5 on the rears. Nice. Yes, it's more better. It's better, but just more. So then it's more better. Do I gotta flip? It's that way. I forget. Flippy windows. What do you add to the water? Add to the water and soap mix in the airline. So we use a soap called Tint Slip. Been saying more better ever since I started watching them. I must say it a lot more than I thought. Doing a back window shrink. Yeah, you can shrink over and install on the inside. If it's a really big, obnoxious decal, it's gonna be harder. I noticed the film will sometimes just like let air back in around the corners. So it's not gonna hurt your film, it's just gonna be a little harder to make sure everything's flat. Here's what I would probably do. I would probably say, I'm gonna give this a go. It should be okay, but it might not be. So I'm gonna try and do it without removing your decal, and then if it comes to that, I'll ask, like, we might just have to if you want it tinted. I would just kind of take a little risk that way, because it'd be worth keeping that job. Likely it's gonna be okay. Is the stuff on the windshield the same as the stuff on the doors? Yes. This one is just far lighter. I did an escape once. I've done 70 on the rest of a vehicle before. It's really rare, but I've done it. Why does the tint shift? Oh, why does the liner shift about an inch when I reverse roll? Because if you look at where the liner is matching up, when you flip it, it's just not in the same spot. It's just this I wouldn't have even understood. It's not a technique I would have came up with. So it's still a little magical that it even works. How do you feel about Suntech and Lumar films? I think they make good products that have an overhyped brand. And that's the way I feel about a lot of films. There's a lot of overhyped films. I mean, film is film. As long as you're using a good quality film, they're good. But a lot of people feel like they're getting a better product purely based on the brand that they're buying it from. And there's a point where that just doesn't matter as much. But if you can leverage that branding for the type of business that you own, then it's well worth it. And that's where I think people get confused, is they'll buy a Lumar product and they won't act like they should with that product. It's just a more expensive film. Most of your customers... Ooh, can I pull up Google Trends? Do you guys want to learn? How many of you use Google Trends to watch things? So Google Trends is a way to search popularity relative to other things. You could also look up search volume. So like if you're looking up ads and like keywords and stuff like that. So we're gonna open up Google Trends. And then we're gonna type in a few things and we're gonna get right back to tinting. We're just gonna kind of play around with this. So we're gonna type in, is it backwards? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, hang on. Lumar. And then we're gonna compare it. So we got Lumar here, and we're gonna compare it to Xpel. Past day. We're gonna go past 12 months. So we got these two lines right here. This red line is Xpel. This blue line is Lumar. This is search volumes compared to each other. Xpel has about a 50% margin over Lumar right now in just search volume. But if we add in other search terms like window tint, Wimbo tint, it starts to put into perspective what are people really looking for. But this could also factor in people looking to buy window tint rolls, learn more about film. This is such a broader term. This is brand per brand. So let's put Geoshield in there, and let's remove window tint. So Geoshield is now yellow. So you see how much lower they are in comparison to these other ones? These ones I get asked about all the time, and this is why. People ask about Xpel more than anything, then Lumar. 3M is going to be really high on the list, but this also, they make Post-its and everything else. So like 3M as a brand is killing everything. But if we get a little bit more specific with like 3M tint, oops, 3. People are searching 3. Hang on. 3M. So 3M tint, Xpel is still, if people were searching these word for word, that's what can throw these off a little bit. But that's about as close as I think as I could get. So does brand matter? yes, brand matters to some extent, but as soon as, again, window tint as a whole, what I experience is most customers are just looking for a good shop to go to, and a lot less people are looking for a particular brand. But then when you start comparing brand for brand, so if you want, like, should I buy Lumar? Should I use them? And it's like, they'll do some businesses really, really well. But you just have to keep that in mind and leverage, like, you gotta leverage their branding and your image and create an entire package that is just as high end as you can possibly do. Another really good one to search is ad volume. So you can actually see how many people per month are searching for a particular brand across anywhere. Across a state, across the country, across the world. You could see how much Taylor Swift kicks everybody's butt on awareness. There's a lot you could do. Where's my... Is it this? No. Where'd my OBS window go? There it is. I just want a good job. Yeah, that's the majority of people. If you're a normal customer, they don't even look at brand. Yep. It's not that brand doesn't matter, and it's not that nobody does research. It's just the vast majority of people aren't going to care as much. But when you get into higher end, more discerning customers too, especially when they're searching for paint protection films and things that they're spending more money on, you're probably going to see people look into brands a little bit more when you're doing something like a paint protection film versus a window tint. But you're going to have at least a few grand in paint protection film where you're going to have typically under $1,000 for a window tint job. So that's why I would say it also matters a lot less. Okay, so this is a WAM, which means that we got to be extra careful. We already covered the BCM. Why as an installer does it matter then? Some brands are a little bit more user-friendly. So you see that a lot is installers will be, hey, how does this brand shrink compared to this other brand? Because that's a pain point for them. But it shouldn't matter as much. But people, as an installer, especially when you care, which I would say most people that comment here are in the category of window tinters that care. So when you don't want to install an inferior product, but you want to save as much money as possible. Who doesn't? So it's finding that price to performance value. So that's why I know a lot of people ask about brand. Is Autobahn also hype? I mean, I think any good company is notable because there's some type of hype around them. That's really how marketing works. Because you're not asking about a brand that you really haven't seen people talk up about, because there's other brands that are being talked about, Autobahn being one of them. I think where things can get skewed is just you'll have particular, like, you'll have certain super passionate people that use any one of those films, and they'll talk it up in a way that makes it seem like it's something else. I try and stay fairly realistic. They're all films. There's good and bad with everybody. So like when you're using a few solid brands, are you going to notice some sort of like space age difference between one versus the other? No. But there's probably going to be one that you like more than the other. Get different films, try stuff out. I was bugging them on Sunday and they responded. Yeah, Autobahn does things a little bit differently. They basically have their reps on first come, first serve basis. So like they actually have shop owners that are also double as like film reps. And so when they hang out in places where people are talking and somebody's like, hey, what about this film? They're incentivized to just respond back at like all times and all hours. A lot of film companies operate on just they're a film brand and they sell across the country through one distributor. Or they'll have territorial reps. I think Autobahn's a little bit unique in that they have just like first come, first serve on reps. What's a preferred brand that you would use on your own vehicle? Geoshield. And look, it even says it on the towel. Yeah, I use Geofilms. I like them a lot. Is Global a trusted brand? Yeah, they just fell asleep at the wheel with marketing. So they lost a ton of market share over the past like 4 or 5 years. What do you think about high tech? High tech has stepped up a lot. It's Tint Depot / Global. Not for every film line that they have. But that's who you're dealing with. Good companies. Autobahn wants a 3 to 5K buy-in. Yeah, because they're territories. You also get your own protected territory. So like, on the one hand, that costs money for them, because if they're going to not sell to other shops in your area, then you have to step up and order more. It's tricky for everybody. Like, you have a few companies. You have your Xpels, you have your Lumar Formula Ones, you have your Autobahns, you have your Solar FX. There's a fair amount of brands that have good films that all copy each other and go for branded territories. And that's good and bad. Makes the film less accessible, which is good if you have a good business, It's bad if you're starting a business because you just have those higher minimums and you got to stomach them. I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but if you wanted to sell brand new iPhones that you bought from Apple, do you think Apple's just going to let you buy them and sell them to your friends? Or do you think they're going to want to see some sort of business? Solar effects, you don't need a buy-in, just 850. Yeah, but they are protected. So if there's a solar effects dealer within a certain proximity, then they reach out to that solar effects dealer in that area and ask if they can sell to a competitor. Is there any companies that give samples? Yeah, there's still companies that do samples, but there's also a lot of people that abuse those sample programs. So like, if you have a shop and you just want to try them out for your own vehicle, then yeah, it's much easier to get a sample. But if you just want to tint your front doors on the weekend, then it's going to be a little harder. High tech. They give samples and they give candy. And free and some free high tech squeegees. It's cool. See, this is why competition is so nice. Is because Geo started getting known for really supporting new dealers. They send out free banners. They send out thank yous. I mean, they did a whole bunch of stuff. And then High Tech, when they launched, they basically ran with their playbook. And it showed, because they drummed up a ton of attention very early on. And I can almost guarantee they would not have done that had they not seen somebody else do that. But what's nice is it puts pressure on the really big companies as well, because they're starting to feel it now too. Because you have companies like 3M, Lumar, and Xpel, and then you have like big companies, SolarGuard, that are still a big company. They're just getting their lunch stolen from them. And so then that company goes, what the fuck? What do we have to do? But they got money to do it. That kind of stuff makes it better for everybody. Because okay, so let me ask you guys, if you're SolarGuard, you have a good film brand, you're owned by a monolithic sized company, Saint Gobain, what do you do to stand apart from the people that are stealing your lunch? Because I can guarantee you they're not as concerned about a high tech. They're way more concerned with losing their long-term established dealers to people like an Xpel or a Lumar. So like if you had a marketing budget, what the heck do you do? I honestly don't know. I don't think videos alone would cut it. All right, let's peel this back. This time we used a rope and a towel. So whenever I have space, I will use the towel for sure, and then I'll add a rope to it. If I don't have much space to work with, I use only the towel. Why do you choose to install Geoshield over the other well-known brands? A big reason why is because of the channel, and I'm way more about teaching. And the thing that's always driven me crazy is a lot of those companies, they just don't want new or small tint shops. So if people keep asking, which like I said earlier, I would like to actually not talk about film or brands almost at all. Because it always like skews something. But yeah, I was called about Ceramic Pro not long ago. Ceramic Pro actually is like fairly well searched compared to everybody else too. I was a little surprised. But the biggest thing that has always like deterred me from going with one of those companies is I know I'm not going to get any better customer service than what I'm getting now. But every time somebody asks what film are you using, if I always got to say I'm using this brand, maybe you'll get it one day if you grow your business. It's like that to me is annoying. I just like it being more accessible. So like if Geoshield changed one day and they're like, hey, we're gonna have exclusive protected territories and no longer sell to anybody, then I'd start looking for another company. I mean, a good way of handling that would also be having I actually like the way that Lumar does things. Lumar has Formula One, and they also have Lumar. So if you're like a top tier Lumar dealer, then you have a protected Formula One territory. I'm gonna grab a different rag here. And so I don't hate that at all. Because there's gonna be outliers in any film brand that honestly should and could deserve some type of special treatment. So if there's some elite film that can actually get more marketing behind it, that is actually meaningful, then being a part of that program in a company that also sells to everybody, I think is a good way to do it. So I wouldn't hate that. But I don't think they're anywhere near being to that point yet. What are you using to clean the windshield after? CarPro's Blue Juice. I'm trying to think of the name. I have it in the cabinet, I'll check. Sprayway glass cleaner's good. Rubbing alcohol's good. This was, let me see what it's called. CarPro Eraser? I call it the Blue Juice. It's a panel prep, but it's a fantastic glass cleaner. It's so good. This turned out nice. Eraser's the shit. It smells so good. It does. I'm a solar installer. What tips do you have for automating / managing customer communications? Ooh, crazy question right now. That's exactly what we're focusing on. We'll have more information within probably the next month, so stay tuned. Because that was that was something that I was trying to fix, and there's one good answer and very few other ways of tying it into one system. We have we've integrated an AI autoresponder. Okay, let me here. Let me just go to a screen and I'll show you guys part of it really quick. Okay, so right here, this is the AI responder that we have for our own business. So, hey, thanks for reaching out. Are you interested in getting your vehicle tinted or something else? And you just go, yeah, dog, I need tint. Great, let's get started. Can you tell me the year, make, and model of your vehicle? I have a Durango. Thanks. Could you please provide the year of your Dodge Durango? Look at that. It fucking knew it. It knew that it's a Dodge Durango. So I have a 2022. Awesome. Which windows are you looking to tint? Let's see. Front doors only. Here, I'll put this a little closer so you guys can see it. Got it. What's the main reason you're looking to tint the front doors? Just want to match. Understood. We have a few options, so then it goes through Pro Classic, C2 Carbon, C2 Ceramic, tells you a little bit about it. Would you like to hear more about these options? No, just how much? This is something we're building. Sure thing, here's the price. And this is accurate, 150, 200, 250, 300. Job will take an hour. Would you like to schedule an appointment? Yes. And then so from here, it'll go to our booking page. Great, you can schedule an appointment on our booking page. You click on this. This goes right to our booking page where you can click on front doors, set your date and your time. So let's say I want to do 10 a.m. on Monday. And then I just fill all that out. Oh, rip. It auto-fills my information. But yeah, it's awesome. So there'll be more info on that soon. That ties into text messages, Facebook, Instagram, everything. So if somebody DMs you on Instagram, that can respond. We're not quite ready to talk about it yet. Just show that, like in the next month or so, we're going to be able to, like we're making sure everything works. Are you going to sell the auto response system to other shops? Yeah. So that's part of it. So an all-in-one inbox autoresponder. And then we have a phone call note taker, which is pretty sick. So when you call and talk to somebody on the phone, you see how it like picked up year, make, and model. So if you go to the contact, you would see the name, their phone number, the year, make, and model that they have recorded without ever having to type anything. And so we're going to be integrating a call thing. I'm waiting on a stupid verification. I'm looking for something right now. I need like a pokey tool. Nothing here is pokey enough. I usually had my keys. It's too big. I gotta pop the headrests out of the rear, and I just need like a panel pokey tool, and I don't know where any of them went. Maybe it's in the other drawer. Can you integrate that with your CRM? Yes. Yeah, so I want to get it integrated with Tint Wiz as well. Pokey tool. I need a pokey tool. Use the tip of your Olfa. Yeah, I might. That might be what we have to use. I have like pokey pry tools somewhere, and I can't believe everything goes missing the way that it does. It's usually my fault though. Oh, I know what I could use. Hang on. I think I can use just a small drill bit here. Oh, no, a small Allen key. There we go. That's what we need. Needle nose pliers. Yeah, anything that can... You just have the other side here. So... It's just getting the right pokey thing in here. Just so you can get some leverage up. Oh my god. I hate these so much. Because, like... They really stick. We could probably just do it without removing them. But having that right fucking tool, because sometimes they just stick like shit. It's just not big enough. My hands hurt already. You like cram your hand in here. You should push both at the same time, but that's like near fucking impossible. This is the hardest part of the fucking truck. We're gonna go with the knife. Matt Grumpy today. You know what? I'm just trying to... There we go. I'm just trying to get some headrest out. And when you gotta shove your hand in there, and it starts cramping up, and all you have is these little pokey things. No, they're like a plastic pokey, like they're not just like small little, they're small little like annoying things, but the way that they'll stick sometimes is just ridiculous. Okay, so that side's loose. I don't know why they did things this way. There. It was out. Ugh. But whoever made these made them to the wrong size, so they just jam them in there. And they stick really bad. Should have just stuck with a single button. I know it. But they jammed this one on this side, and you got that much space to jam your fingers in. So like I said, I just had the wrong pokey tool as well. So annoying. Very annoying. I can feel people dropping off as I'm fucking around with it. That's this dip right here. Like, what is that? That's me fucking around with that dress. Hurts. Okay. Should I get the flash? What's the flash? Do you run Google ads or get leads from organic? Everything's organic. We'll be running Google ads soon though. This should be down. That should be down. That should be down. I'll just make sure that this is tight. Then we can do this. And do it again. Okay, so what do we got? We got a 23, I think. Something like that. It might be a 22, but the year range is fine. We're gonna go down to RAM. 1500. Open vehicle. Back glass. Look at how many options do they got. So we'll go with option 2, slider. It's got those thingy-majiggers. So we're gonna go to the cut board. We're gonna change this to 24-inch roll. And then we're gonna get rid of some of these. Right? Yes. Okay, so we can take this. I don't think, yeah, 24-inch roll isn't ideal for this, honestly. We also have to change out our cut blade. So right now this is for 1.5 mil. We set one up specifically for the 2 mil ceramic. So we're gonna pop that in there. And then enter condition 2. Switch that over. So we're ready to cut this. Let's just start with the end piece and we'll go from there. This is core. This is core on the cheapest, not the cheapest, but like that little PC right there. I've noticed it does some glitchy stuff. I think that's the computer. I don't think that's core. So there is our pattern. Does core not leave a light gap at the top edge of the window? That's a good question. That's one thing I'm gonna find out. Because that top edge is dumb. That's the only thing about these RAMs that is really annoying. Have you tried FED? Yes, I hated it. I'm sorry. I hear the same issues still from people. It dips down in the middle of your door windows. And it's like, yeah, that's why I originally hated the softwares, because I ran into so many door windows that would do that. And they're like, yeah, it still does it. And then there's some people that say they don't have issues, so like, I don't know. Our top edge is consistent with core. They're not perfect. We've ran into some that could definitely be better. some that are very surprising. I think it's just like an incredibly hard to beat value. I think Core is putting the most effort into a software, and it shows by like a country mile. And it's at a very aggressive price. So like if you're not a dealer, it's still only $150. Is Xpel falling off? I don't know, I don't use them. I don't, like company-wide, no. But a company can always lose some focus on a particular product. And then all of a sudden, like, see where, I don't know for sure. But Xpel's like in an interesting position because they're publicly traded, and what made Xpel big is dealers. And being publicly traded now, they just need to sell as many rolls as possible. They just picked up Tint World, yeah. I think the appeal is maybe gonna drop off some for shops where I think they're always gonna get desirable shops that are gonna get it and do really well with their branding. But I think maybe people that were with Xpel for a number of years are probably not gonna like them as much because they have to do a lot of things that aren't really dealer friendly anymore. Like when you're paying X amount for a particular film and then you get 5 price hikes inside of a year, you look at that and you're like, what the fuck? But being publicly traded means that you have to grow your quarter-over-quarter revenues by like a significant amount. And if you don't, then your share price drops off. And the people in charge of the company don't want that to happen. So does their like long-term vision for the company to increase shareholder value fuck over the individual dealership or dealers, because they've done things like, yeah, they're in Tint Worlds now. They are in average car dealerships now. Top edge looks good. Ooh, that actually worked out pretty good. So if there's so going back to like software, if there's a program that's going to be competitive, it's going to be Core. This must not be the right one. The top edge works. The rest of them don't. Like this is short. So I've got this cutout wrong. I picked this one. So let's go back to our back window. It's got to be this one. Or, what the fuck? Let me see, go to cupboard. So you see the difference here? One's got that cutout and one's just straight. I thought that cutout would match up there, but it's like way off. It's like here to here. So I got a gap there right now. Everything else fits pretty well. So I either can just make the pattern wider and use this one, or I risk cutting out the other one, which I don't feel is right. But fuck it, we'll try it. So let's split this apart. Let's do this one. And then let's go for broke. Yeah, we're not doing bad. He's gonna be here at 3. We got just the back window left on this one. You're able to install window tint on house windows. Yes, they have architectural film, which is made specifically for houses. The thing to note about houses, this looks way too big. Yeah, this is wrong. What the fuck? What is this? All right, let's figure out what we did wrong. It's either us or it's them. So this is a classic crew cab. It's possible that 1500 classic regular cab or 1500 crew cab. Wow, there's a lot. I probably then picked the wrong one. Yeah, there's so many. Let me just, okay. So we have, okay. It's gotta be my error. So there's 1500 crew cab, 1500 classic quad cab, 1500 classic regular cab. Why not measure it? Because it's like a goofy cutout. It's not just like the width of it. It's the way the cutout is. Okay, so what am I on? We'll try 1500 crew cab and see how that works. Yeah. All right, go to cupboard. So that's this one. And then we're gonna split this apart. You can't search a VIN? No, I don't think so. People ask why I don't sell kits. This is one reason why I don't sell kits. When it comes to trucks, they just ruin everything. Because there's like 500 little differences between them. So I probably picked the wrong one. I think that's pretty obvious. Classic makes sense that it's the old body style. I didn't think they'd just... Really? They have the classic body style and they still make them? Up through like 24? Gotcha. That totally makes sense. Yeah, this is a 24. This is like what I see every day. So I hardly ever see that style. So, makes sense. I just picked the wrong one. I should have picked non-classic. But that's how you learn, right? I figured there was something not right. Let's find out though. Because like I saw a post not too long ago. Somebody cut out like a Grand Cherokee, but they had a Grand Cherokee L. And there's like a significant difference between the two. But when you... Some of those differences are just not obvious if you don't keep up with them. And so trucks, I forgot about that. Makes sense though. So we'll try this one. You're welcome to try and take it. Already creased and every... Oh, yeah, in the trash can. Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's a lot better. Even lines up on the top really nicely. Ever heard of Smart Tint? Yeah, I think they called me once and they asked if they could put some videos of mine on their website, just so people could reference training because they get asked all the time. But they said if anybody asked about an in-person school, they would refer mine. So I appreciated that. Once you find the correct pattern, are you able to put a note on it for future? You know, I don't know all of core features, and that's a good question. You can, I think you can save alternates. Like they have vehicle notes. Can I make one? Shop notes. I wonder if I can make notes. Also, a good thing to reference too is the sheer amount of times that things have been cut. So this said 22,000 versus like 2,700. So those are things to like keep in mind. It said add note. Where am I looking? Oh yeah, right here. Yep, I can add a note. I can share it with the core community. LOL. I was a dumb ass. Yeah, I'm glad you saw that. I didn't notice exactly where that was. That's cool. So answer, yes. Yes, you can. We're gonna cut this one. You can send to everybody. That's cool. Or you can keep them. See, that's what I've really liked about them is like patterns matter most, but when you have good patterns and then all of a sudden you do all these extra comfort features. So they got like nighttime mode and they have daytime mode. I would never expect the tint software to have a dark mode. This is just like, it's just super well thought out. There's very few things. Like, if I had unlimited money and I made my own software, I don't know what I would do differently. It's like, that's how well thought out the software seems. But they take it a step further with like paint protection film, and that's a field that I'm just like not in. But for now, it's $150 a month. In the past, with Lumar and Suntech, they've used them as tools to try and push people into their film. I don't know if that's their long-term plan with Core, where all of a sudden they see like every dealer using their software, and they're just like, all right, it's time to put the clamp down on these people and get on board some more film companies, because that's what we're interested in doing, is selling more film, not selling software. That's always possible. So That's unfortunately what happened with Lumar. Or not Lumar. Yeah, they did that in the past, but Xpel went hard into that. They were really smart. They're like smart evil. I appreciate it. Because like, let's say you want to onboard a bunch of users, right? How do you get market share? So what they did was they opened up software to everybody, and they backed it up with amazing patterns. And it was just like, holy shit, these are great. And they embraced community, and they just did an awesome job, and they just crushed it. And then they took a look at all their dealers and go, okay, we got a lot of people now. Now it's time to close down how many people we have, because ultimately we're trying to sell film. And so they started cutting people off from their software. It was dick move, bro. But I respect the hell out of it, because business is business sometimes. So I don't agree with it, but if I was in their shoes, would I do the same thing? No, probably not. But if I was trying to accomplish the same goals, what do you do differently? I don't know. I like smart business. It's fun. Do you charge more for trucks with 3-piece sliders? No, I charge the same. Three pieces take longer to do unless you have a plotter, and then it's like easy breezy. Wow, they did a really good job with these cutouts too. Good job. See, we just needed the actual right one. Are those colored handles available on your site? No. Do you guys want them? Okay, there's 2 products that Fusion just released. 3 products? Man, this is where I just need to stay out of it sometimes, because I know there's people that probably will buy them. But let me explain some hot takes, okay? Yes, please. But not the Prodigy. That's it. It's a Tinter tool hot takes where 6 people care about this subject. So I've got their Prodigy lineup. So these are one-time use, not one time, but these are single-use squeegees. So as soon as your blade is worn out and you can't sharpen it anymore, you throw the entire thing away. This is all one molded piece. They sell these for $18, where squeegee blade, the squeegee blade alone costs $14. So essentially the handle is $4. But what I hate about it is, like, dude, look at my drawers. Do I look like I throw old tools away? Like, go down here. No, this one. Look at this. I can't throw shit away. So I'm just going to get a whole bunch of these, and I'm going to feel bad about throwing away. It's a little wasteful, but I just wish you could keep the handle and swap it out with the blade, and they just had a more budget-style handle is all. I don't want to have to buy the whole unit again. But so they came out with these. They also came out with the Blue Beast squeegee. And right off the bat, I'll do it on this and just wipe this off again. I am seeing just like streak lines being left behind on these things. So I bought like 200 of these, and I haven't talked to them yet. I'm gonna try a couple more, but like that to me is not great of a brand new squeegee. You don't want to see streaks left like that. And then the third thing that they did, they sent me a bag of stuff. They have some different handles, different colored handles. They're the same like Fusion Shorties. They just made a couple different colors. And I love that they're doing different colors. I hate that they're like ketchup and mustard. So like, I don't know. As far as all the colors on the spectrum that you could pick, it was just like we opened the bag and we saw ketchup and mustard, and everybody made the same type of face. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to carry, like just buy a bunch of them then and have them sitting for extra long. But I know some people will probably like this one more. This is actually like less red. It looks a little red on camera. It's less red and it's definitely more like reddish pink. I want the red one, please. I'm not a red guy. That's my problem. So then I get those and I'm like, I wouldn't buy that one personally. So then I don't order them in stock. Which is bad because it's like they released it. Fusion's got a fan base. You should just buy the stuff and throw it on there, and eventually they'll sell themselves, I'm sure. And there's some people that'll be like, why do you hate that? I love it. It's like my favorite tool. And then I feel like an ass. They should make you your own green one. I know it. Actually, I'll talk to them about a custom colored hybrid. Give me a I don't know what other color I would do other than green. Like green and purple, I guess. It'd kind of be like the Hulk squeegee at that point. That's very Tint Studio colors. I would like to see that though. If they did like a custom hybrid, which I don't think would be very hard for them to do. We would probably just have to order like 1,000 of them or something. I have no idea how many we would have to order. So Detroit Tint Studio colors, like everything is bright green. That's like my go-to for a tool. So it'd be bright green and then something else. And so like our logo colors are like purple, but also we have a light blue. So like green and light blue might be pretty sick. I have a Joker purple green installer grade squeegee. Nice. Okay. So let's add the middle piece then. The other two are done. And then let's cut them out. Go to cut board. So we're going to split this apart. It's just so messy. To clean it up later, I am just like I just set shit everywhere. I guess I missed a lot if you're plotting like that. Alligator, what's up? I don't do it for everything. We're the same old hand-cut doors, hand-cut windshield, plotter cut select back windows. So especially on a truck. But we definitely have a different setup than before. Yes, yes, yes. This way. Yeah, let's get our sprayer. Throw it in there. Do I still have? I still have it. It's somewhere here. Took a few months off to rebrand. This one, I still have it. I couldn't throw this away. I remember you sent this to me a long time ago. You were selling jet skis, I think. Or boats. You're selling boats. Good to see you, buddy. I'll send you new ones as soon as they're printed. It'll hang around. Dude, I'm a sucker for sentimental stuff. And that was like, I know you sent it as an example. I look at it, it's like, I should throw this kind of stuff out. Or just like stuff that's sitting around my shop. And then I look at it and be like, I can't throw this out. And then it sits somewhere. And so now I have that little wall there where like I got the Tint Wiz thing there. Some other stuff. Some stickers that people gave me. That's like a perfect place to put it. Just don't send too many. I can't handle it. Did I do this too? Oh, I did it too tall. Dang it. All right, we gotta recut this. There's a little gap down here. I should have had it slid down a little bit more. Wakeboard boats. I knew it was but I knew fast it was a mistake. I'm focused on flat this time around. There's just more money in flat. I think you can grow a hell of a company in flat. Why can't you reuse that one? Because as soon as you... Oh God, I'm just going to restart this. As soon as you pull the film back, it's going to like leave defroster line marks on it, and it's going to have some dirt. It's just easier to cut a new one. Look, man, we got a flat glass training wall now. We do classes here. Okay, so let's split this apart. Okay, somebody want to teach me how to make a pattern bigger. Oh, that's how you do it. Oh, I like that. That's so nice. Can I just, apply. Yes! And then we'll move it. There we go. Have you ever considered selling pre-plotted patterns to people? Yes. Let's see. Oh, he just sent me his website. Will do, man. I like that you do a lot more personalized stuff. I've got a good site now, but I got to do some more personalized stuff. For doing as many videos and stuff as I do, God, I just don't put the focus on local business as much. Have you ever considered, Have you ever considered selling pre-plotted patterns? Yeah, for sure. It's just like anything. It's a tough business. Anybody can get a machine. Anybody with a shop has a plotter, can do it. So you just have a lot of competition in the space. And it's not exactly a super DIY friendly thing. So what often happens is just like people mess it up and maybe want a refund, or it's like the challenges in it are sometimes, like especially in a truck, you got to figure out exactly what truck it is. And do they have a 3-piece slider? Do they have this? Is it a power slider? Like, there's just a lot of room for like annoying mistakes. So I've done it, but I just never liked it. I need a plotted F350 rear glass. God, why is it people always have trucks that want plotted patterns? I don't get it. There, that fits better. Made it a little bit taller. I know this is a tint channel. Ever work on body shop stuff? No. No, I've done like a fair amount of auto accessories. So I had some time with like glass replacement. I had some time with remote starts, step bars, detailing. Detailing before it was like the business that it is today. Tinted around plenty of body shops, but never been interested in the mechanical and body work stuff. It's messy. Ooh, hey buddy, you might be a good candidate for our software. Do you have dealership accounts? No. No, the right dealerships are great. And there's a lot of annoying dealerships. Dealerships are, vast majority of them are so numbers focused and too busy to care about you. Don't trip yourself. Let's not do that. Oh, I still have your green tri-edge and green squeegee. Nice. It's cool. How tough are our little windows compared to the passenger window? In quite a few cases, the little quarter windows are so much more annoying than the roll down ones. So like a small roll down or a window like this, you could do way quicker than some of those little quarter windows. They drive me crazy. All right, let's just make sure these edges are down. Everything else looks good. Flexzilla, best air hose in my opinion. Yeah, they're nice. We have the Flexzilla hoses, and then also the extensions, which are nice, but we're gonna put a diffuser back over here eventually. And one thing I didn't account for is matchy extension cords and hoses get tangled and they blend together. So I'll grab one, or I'll like look to untangle them and it'll take me too long. It gets annoying. Are you a fan of the fishbowl combo? What's the fishbowl combo? Is that like a Long John Silver's thing? Are they still in business? Why do you use tape on the weather strip? Because it helps with managing dirt out of the sides. So, let's say you're painting an accent wall and you're trying to not get paint on the edge. You tape that, right? Well, I'm trying to not get dirt to leach into my pattern. So on brand new vehicles, it doesn't matter near as much. But when you get vehicles with a few years of age on them, you have a lot more dirt in those seals. And sometimes cleaning it, like if you're an experienced tinter and you clean them, you're typically fine. But I was honestly surprised how many fairly clean windows that I would just like, I tape and look at it. And then I see like nothing on the edge. Where sometimes it's like you get like a couple specks here or there that aren't a big deal. And you're just like, oh, that actually helps quite a bit. Sweet. Why didn't you get the cables that lock in? What do you mean? I don't know. I might not know about something. Oh, the extensions that like lock into each other? Has anybody asked to put PPF on their mirrors? Yeah, that's really common. I don't do PPF right now, but yeah. PPF on mirrors and all that, very common in the PPF space. Fishbowl is 70% tint all around. Are you a fan? It's just an untinted look. It's fine for the right person. I don't really think it's a look. I think it's just, do you want ceramic or not? And so I wouldn't do it on my own vehicle, but I wouldn't discourage somebody doing it on their vehicle if that's a look, if that's what they want to do. I'm not driving their cars. They're driving their cars. So my goal is to figure out what people want to go with. Long John Silvers. Long John Silvers. I was trying to think of a fun little thing to send customers when they were messaging us. And so we have it. I turned it off for the time being until I can think of something else. But when we figured out what year, make, and model that they have, our software would automatically send them an AI image of their car in a fishbowl. Because at that point, they're like, I'm interested in getting my windows tinted. What car do you have? And you start discussing all that stuff. And then AI in the background generates their vehicle in a fishbowl. And then it texts them that image and says, let's tint that fishbowl. It is great. We're having all types of fun right now. Sweet. Looks good. Does the AI ask which body style focus hatch? It can. So it all depends on your training data for it. So we've programmed it, like I don't charge different between a focus hatch or a sedan. But you can absolutely teach it those things. But it gets, the more specific you get down to certain things, the harder it's going to be to account for those particular situations. Because what'll happen is just you're going to have so many little things. So let's say I'm trying to even think of what different body style Ford Focus are there? Look up dealership information about that. So we would have to specifically train it on some of those situations. So like, for example, I have like a Tesla or like an or like an older vehicle. Like, hey, I have a 2003 Ford Focus. How much? And so what I say is for vehicles manufactured before 2005, we need to provide a custom quote. But then if I'm like, hey, I also have a 2013 or a 2009 Corvette I need pricing for. And so this front doors, this is how much it is, full windshield only, sides and rear. So this is all pricing that I've had to specify for like that particular vehicle. So that's where you get into some really like unique situations where if you charge differently for coupes and sedans or hatchbacks versus other ones, you would have to make sure you add that into your training data. Where's my YouTubes? But yeah, like transit vans, VW, Beetles, and whatnot. It's like every shop is going to be different in the way that they handle pricing and the way that you know, they want to talk to customers and stuff like that. So Xpel is my home. The relationships there have their top notch, incredible. I don't think there is a best film because that is subjective, but Xpel is great, and I believe in relationships. I agree with that. All right, let's wipe off this windshield, and then this one's all set. Oops. That's why. How do I purchase your YouTube monthly subscription? Oh, the membership? I don't know if it's there anymore. I kind of dropped the ball with keeping up on it. That's my fault. I'm so excited to potentially utilize AI for my business. Yeah, what's cool about AI is it's able at this point, if you integrate it right, to start handling things that take you time. So like that AI autoresponder, there's a lot of businesses that aren't gonna want an autoresponder. Or they're only going to want to use it after hours or something for like people that are just like have basic questions, or it doesn't want to like, you know, there's too many situations for pricing or whatever. But our phone call solution is super cool. You have to do it on mobile, and it's got, no, you can do it on mobile too, which is nice. But our the note taker is going to be like, I'm like, after messing around with like an AI responder, having an AI note taker is just so fucking cool. So imagine you have a phone call with somebody, right? You're discussing pricing, your make, model, what they're interested in doing, and then you want to put them on your schedule, or they're going to call you back, or whatever the case is. We have things set up with our shop right now. After the phone call, it transcribes it, plugs in their name, whatever information we collected, like vehicle, make, model, year, on their contact. And then we'll have a note summary right next to their contact. So we'll know everything about the phone call. Just like at a glance. It's just an automated note taker. It's so cool. But because you're collecting vehicle information, you can potentially set it up with like a automation to run in the background. So you could send up like a follow-up text about the pricing that you discussed and maybe send some sales information or whatever, like completely automatically. It's really, really cool. Is there glare on the inside of the windshield? I'm debating on getting mine done. Is there glare on the inside of the windshield? I'm in Michigan. Where are you located? Sterling Heights, Detroit Tint Studio. Is there glare on the inside of the... I don't really understand what you're asking. I'm debating on get mine done. No, like if you tint your windshield, it's not going to add glare to it. It darkens everything that's coming into your windshield. So it's like you effectively don't have as much glare. You really notice it 35 and below, but... Hi, how can I help you guys? Okay, I'll be with you in just a minute. I got customers up front. I was gonna pull this one out. All right, hang on. I'm gonna put you guys here, and then I'm gonna go talk to Zem. You guys can look at pretty truck for a minute. Can I just set that there? Perfect. Hey, how you doing? Good.
I was thinking of doing like for the front windshield, like kind of I think it's called a chameleon tint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys would do that here.
We don't carry any chameleon tints. If you find one that you like, we could install it. The issue that we found is a lot of them fail.
Okay.
So we don't know of any reputable suppliers where they're like guaranteed to last past like 6 months.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a really cool look, and they're fun to have, but yeah, no major manufacturers actually make that stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much would you charge for a windshield? Just the windshield?
Just the windshield? It depends a little bit on what film that you go with. So we have 3 different kinds. Pro Classic, that's our most affordable option.
Yeah.
It would start at $150.
Okay.
So-
I got nano on the sides and the back.
Okay. You got a ceramic?
Yeah.
Okay.
20%.
Ceramic would be our most premium option. That would be $250 for the windshield.
Okay.
What's the difference between all these, like the nanocarbon, ceramic?
The biggest difference is going to be the amount of heat that they block out. So I can show you guys really quick on here. You'll be able to feel the difference. So let me go ahead and turn this on. So let's go over to a dyed film. So this is our standard film. This is like the cheapest way of making window film, but it's still a good quality film. If you put your hand in front of there, you'll be able to feel a lot of heat coming off of that bulb. You can try it out too.
Yeah.
So this is just the heat that's coming off of this bulb. It's right around 300. As soon as we go to the carbon, that number drops in half. So it's blocking about half as much heat. You'll still be able to feel it. So if you have ceramic on your side doors, like the nano ceramic, you should feel a big difference right now between your side doors and your full windshield.
Yeah, that's where the heat comes through.
Mm-hmm. So when you go to ceramic, you can put your hand in front of there now. You just don't feel near the amount of heat anymore. So what's nice about ceramic too is that you can go really light on your windshield, or you can go darker, like a more traditional tint.
Yeah.
But you can go really light, so it just, if you want it, get tinted and block the heat, but you don't want it to look super dark.
Okay. How much would it cost to do all the windows except the windshield?
All the windows except the windshield. What kind of vehicle is it?
It's 535,
What year?
2014.
2014. It would start at $290 for the Pro Classic. Carbon would be $350. Pro Nano Ceramic would be $450.
That's not bad.
But yeah, sorry about no chameleon film.
Oh, no,
But if you find something, we're more than happy to install it. We just haven't been happy with lot of them.
I mean, if you guys want to experiment, you can probably just use my car. I'll probably see if I can try to find something. If it doesn't work, I'll just come again with a different.
Okay.
Because I want to get. I've seen like people do them.
Yeah.
So, like, especially like on like black cars. Mine's black, and
yeah.
I wanted to get that done too. It looks nice.
Yeah, it's a cool look. I love it. I just like it's one of those things that people primarily will put on windshields, and there can be legal issues with tinting windshields. So that's why you don't see any major manufacturers actually make chameleon films, really.
What's the legal limit
So
on the
it's
windshield? Is there any?
legal limit is going to be in Michigan is just going to be the top 4 inches.
Yeah.
So if you so doing a chameleon film stands out a lot, so you're way likely to get pulled over for it. You can get your windows tinted, like your front doors and your full windshield tinted, if you have a doctor's note. But there is a specific law that says the windows can't be reflective. So chameleon films are also typically a little reflective too as well.
Rob's.
So it's just one of those things. It's like tint at your own risk. Like a lot of people, like so many people are tinting their full vehicles. It's just you don't see the chameleon film as much. That's why it's just not a mass produced thing right now. You can still find them. I just like I did this one guy's car. We did a gold chrome all the way around with the windshield, and then like 8 months later, he sent me pictures showing like how it faded. So it went from being gold to being like just like chrome. It lost a lot of the coloring after like 9 months.
Okay. Yeah. I'll probably have to ask Hunter then because he had it for years. IS.
Yeah, if you find a good one, let me know.
Okay.
Because it's one of those things that like every company that sells it will say it's awesome, and then we just don't want to put something on there that 9 months later, a year later, it just fails, and we're like, yep, it just did that. That sucks.
Yeah, I have to ask him. I asked him a couple months ago. He's terrible with his phone.
Okay.
I have to catch him in person.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are interested, let me know.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
You as well.
You should try Window Tint Warrior Chameleon. What is that? Ultravision? That was the only one that was decent that I saw. There was one customer that had it on for a couple of years, but again, it's just one of those things where you just don't have any major companies doing it, and so Ultravision. They had a light shade that held up really well, and then for the same customer, we tinted his windshield 2 different times, and he had it tinted somewhere else, and it was Ultravision, and the film dried and looked dirty. Not like dirt specks, but smeary. So like they had their own problems that they were working through. Even Sean will tell you he redoes those because they don't last.
Opinion on some texture.
Thank you. Like, it sucks. I wish there was a good option, but like they're all like random Chinese films as far as I can tell. And until somebody puts something on and can like prove it long term, or there's some like awesome company that steps up and gets something made that I can respect their opinions on, and they made like a trustworthy film. I'm personally not gonna take that type of a gamble, but I would install it going with the, that disclaimer, like, hey, it's not guaranteed to last more than 6 months. But they're paying prices that are like gonna be over what a regular windshield would cost. So I could do an Apex ceramic windshield, right? and that would be awesome. And that would cost what, $300, and then to do like a chameleon one would be in like a similar price, and it's gonna fail way quicker. It's just like, it just doesn't make sense. Hopefully my mic stays connected. I don't know. Sorry if it cuts out. Let's see how this looks on the front. Ooh, that looks nice. I like that. I hope he's happy with this. Very nice. Looks good. Easy to see through. 70 on the windshield. Cool. All right. Opinions on Suntech ceramic. I haven't seen their ceramic in a very long time. I would hope it's good.
How much does it cost to just get
The way that people make it last a touch longer is they'll do a light shade and then install a 40 or 50 behind it. You would have to do a 70, 80, 90%, some really light film, and then do a chameleon over it. That way you still get the color. And you get the protection. The annoying part is, like, I wish they just made a UV film in like a 90%. And then you could tint it once to protect it, and then do whatever chameleon film that you wanted, and then everything should be fine. In theory, as if it's got that kind of protection in front of it. But yeah, the color just typically fades out of it. They just don't make them to last. They're still not cheap though. And they're like legitimately ceramic too. So I did some tests on the gold one that I had to play around with. There was like a live stream a handful of years ago now. How much does it cost to get just the front two windows done? What kind of vehicle?
Hey Matt, have you got hold of the C2 2%?
Have you got hold of the C2 2%? Yes, and it is very dark. I've installed it on a few things. It looks great. It's got like a super neutral color. Doesn't stand out in like any weird ways. I did 2% on somebody's front doors, and then 2% over their factory glass, and then like 20 on the windshield. This shit was so dark. How do you separate those damn blades when taking them out of the box? With your fingers. They have to coat them in a little bit of oil, but I don't know, just make sure your fingers are dry. C2, okay, so let me put these boxes back. I guess if we must, we must.
It's nice.
This is why everything piles up. That reminds me, I've got to order more. I've got to order more 2%. I think we used almost the last bit of what we had on the last 2% job that we had. It was almost crisis. So then what am I going to do? 2 layers of 5? Ooh. My fingers are old. I don't know what to tell you. It's just one of those unfortunate things. But there's always another It's always another way of doing things, so. Okay, so in this, behind drawer number 2, oh, come on, towel. That's why we can't have nice things. C2. Is it in here somewhere? Oh, right here, right up front. Very, very dark. Look at that. Look at that shit. It's crazy dark. That's awesome. But yeah, I was really surprised about the color because typically when you have something that dark, like they were very colored anal about that one. They spent a lot of extra time to make sure that one was right. I heard the process for making that kind of sucks. So they take a 60-inch roll, and then when they're coloring the roll, what they were having issues with was the outsides were a little lighter than the insides. So they basically took a 60-inch roll, they cut 10 inches off of the edges, and then so it's a consistent 2% throughout the entire run.
Except on windshield. We use 20%.
So they got to sacrifice the 60-inch roll to make a 40-inch roll. In my country, we use 1% on all windows except the windshield. We use 20. Damn, that's dark. Good stuff.
Scrap 20-inch.
But they have to cut it off the edges, so basically they get a bunch of 10-inch windshield strip rolls out of it. Because they can't just take 20-inch and then the other one. They got to cut it out of the center section. It's fun tint fact of the day. Good stuff. Alrighty. I gotta make sure he's all typed up. He's gonna be showing up in a few minutes here, so I'm gonna hop off. Thank you guys for hanging out today. Where are we? Viewer activity. Were there any super chats? Oh, there were. Bob with the 2. Cool content. You're a genuine talent. I appreciate you. And then Alligator with the 5. Of course, you're talking Xpel as they show up again. I just had to, you know. I was like, today's the day. All right, guys. Oh, my camera just died. All right, perfect.